Hello everyone, welcome to another video of mine, Kemal AA, and this is another Chelsea transfer video for you guys, where I keep you guys up to date with all the latest news in surrounding Chelsea in the past 24 hours. And we have a lot to get through, serious developments from big publications regarding Kepa, Oblak, ter Stegen, Havertz, Declan Rice, Benjamin Chilwell, and the fact that Chelsea want to sell up to 10 players this summer window to fund moves such as Declan Rice and a potential big marquee signing for a goalkeeper, and of course Benjamin Chilwell and Lampard wants a whole defensive squad overhaul and of course reinforcements in the defensive department. But before I do get into it, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, comment down below your thoughts in the comment section. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now, starting off with the publication report by The Guardian, written by Gary Jacob, who writes alongside Fabrizio Romano at times. But Gary Jacob posted an article, and essentially what he's saying is that Chelsea and Lampard want to sell up to 10 players this summer, and Kepa Arrizabalaga is expected to go out on loan. They will also listen to offers for Kurt Zouma, Andreas Christensen, Emerson and Alonso, and they are also willing to sell N'Golo Kante. Now, this news story was broken this morning, and I was quite surprised and shocked when I heard it. Now, obviously, we know that Lampard wants to sell a lot of the squad. A lot of these players will be sold to essentially help fund and rebuild the squad necessary in Lampard's image and for next season to essentially compete for major honours. But some of the players that were listed, Zuma's been one of our best centre-backs this season, and of course, yes, he has been in that team, but he is one of our most consistent centre-backs. Same with Andreas Christensen. In my personal opinion, both Andreas Christensen and Kurt Zouma are our best centre-backs, so I think such as Rudiger needs to be sold before. Emerson, we know, surplus to requirements, lack of game time, he's expected to be sold as well, and same with Alonso. Lampard is not happy with either fullback, and he wants to sign a top quality market left back, which has obviously been known for a long time, and so hopefully Chelsea can cash in both Emerson and Marcos Alonso. But the most surprising of all was N'Golo Kante. The fact that Chelsea are willing to listen to any sort of offer for N'Golo Kante. Of course, we know that Inter Milan had serious interest. Antonio Conte wanted to reunite, but it is looking likely that Inter Milan will be signing Sandro Tonali, and so that kind of rules out N'Golo Kante going to Inter Milan. And of course, they are in a lot of financial trouble as well, so I doubt they could cough up the likes of 70, 80, 90 million pounds for N'Golo Kante. Other suitors include Real Madrid and Barcelona, but how strong is their interest, and can they afford such a marquee player in this pandemic? That is another question to be seen. But also the other question of why are Chelsea willing to listen to offers for him? Is it because he's injury prone now? He's approaching 30 years of age on a long contract, and he's one of our largest assets where we can get a lot of money for him, which essentially can refund and help even sign, further sign top quality players. In my opinion, we should be listening to offers for N'Golo Kante. I do rate him very highly. I think he's a world-class player. However, he's approaching 30. He's extremely injury-prone, getting muscular injuries week in, week out, relying on his athleticism too much. And I think it's best that we cash on him. I think this summer could be the last chance we can get big money for him, in my opinion. And I think that, yes, he's had a very successful time at Chelsea, but I think it's time to move on and help fund in other areas. But again, it is quite surprising here. I thought Lampard does rate him quite highly, and I'm not sure how credible that is, but that is by Gary Jacob, who wrote an article on it. Now let's go on to Goal.com. Goal.com, written by Nazar Kinsella, of course, a Chelsea correspondent, journalist for Chelsea, and it is regarding Declan Rice and Benjamin Chilwell from Leicester. Now Chelsea will step up their efforts to sign new players in the transfer window after it opened up on Monday. They will look to tie up a deal for Kai Havertz, while they are also targeting Leicester City's Ben Chilwell and West Ham's Declan Rice. Now, we know that Lampard admires both Ben Chilwell and Declan Rice, of course, both top quality English young stars that have both got high ceilings and good potential. And Lampard would like to sign both. We know that he wants a centre back and left back. Declan Rice he's got that versatility. They can also play a centre back, and we know that of course Chelsea and Lampard want Ben Chilwell as first choice left back. Now the only stumbling block with this is price. Declan Rice, West Ham of course have stayed up, so that therefore Declan Rice's price will be extortionate, it will be astronomical, and they're going to command around 60, 70 million pounds. And of course they are in a lot of financial trouble. They've got top players on very high wages. They're just about scraped up, staying up, and they've lost a lot of money due to the pandemic and the global virus. So they could consider cashing in, but they will want a lot for their star man. He's their talisman, their best player, their captain. He's not going to go on the cheap. Declan Rice would love to come to Chelsea. He's already had a phone call with Lampard. He's already keen on the move. He graduated from Chelsea. he would be very, very happy to sign. It really depends on the two clubs' agreed price, which is a major stumbling block as we speak. And regarding Ben Chilwell again, Ben Chilwell would love to come to Chelsea. Personal would never be a problem. He's already spoken to Lampard. He wants to work on Lampard. He wants to move to Chelsea, to an elite club, make that new step forward. But again, it's the same problem. The big valuation gap between Leicester's valuation, and of course Chelsea's valuation. Mourinho and Sky and Chelsea hierarchy only want to pay a maximum of 45 to 50 million pounds, whereas Leicester City want around 70 to 80 million pounds, as reported by Matt Law in the past few weeks. So again, the two players at Chelsea are keen on signing, but both of them is the same issue, the major stumbling block, and that is, of course, the price gap. Now moving on and carrying on with the Declan Rice situation, and it is reported now by Matt Law, of course, a very, very reliable journalist when it comes to Chelsea. He is arguably the most reliable journalist when it comes to Chelsea news. So anything he says is 100% legit. Writes for Telegraph, has very close contacts within the source in the club, and he's basically saying that Chelsea's Kai Havertz pursuit means that Frank Lampard must sell first-team players to fund defensive signings. Jorginho could be sold to help fund either Declan Rice or Jose Gimenez if he moves. Now, as I reported at the start of the video, Chelsea and Lampard would like to sell to 10 players, so essentially fund defensive moves and reinforce that defence and bolster the squad. And we know that, of course, Declan Rice is a long-term target, but as Matt Law reported around 2 weeks ago, Chelsea have begun scouting Jose Gimenez and would like to sign him. But of course, there is a major stumbling block because Atletico Madrid, they don't want to sell their best centre-back. He is one of their best players, Atletico, and he does have a release clause the same as Oblak's, around £109 million. So Chelsea would no way ever pay that release clause. It's more of the case of negotiating a fee with Atletico. The good news is Atletico still owe us money for the Alvaro and Morata deal, which could help us in potentially signing either Oblak or Gimenez, etc. But as Matt Law's reported, we're going to have to sell players to essentially fund these defence signings, whether that is Jose Gimenez, whether that is Declan Rice. So it really depends how much we can get. And the only issue is, because we are in a pandemic, what club is going to pay all these fees for these players? So that is a major stumbling block, but I do believe that we can get quite a bit of money for our players. Now moving on to, again, a later part of the article by Matt Law. Essentially, Chelsea have identified targets such as Oblak and ter Stegen should Kepa leave. Cheaper alternatives are being looked at if Kepa has to stay, written by Matt Law. And I find that quite interesting. That is regarding the goalkeeping situation. We know that Kepa has had a torrid time this season. He's been appalling, very, very under par performances, very, very poor. And a lot of Chelsea fans and of course the club would like to ship him on. However, because we spent a world record fee on him, we can't exactly get a permanent deal for him because no club would pay anywhere near what we would want. And therefore a loan is more likely, with obviously Sevilla and Valencia interested. And if Kepa does go out on loan or is somehow sold, then Chelsea will be looking at Oblak or ter Stegen as a marquee world-class replacement that all Chelsea fans would be very happy with and definitely would get Chelsea back to competing. However, because of finances, if Kepa has to stay, Chelsea would still have to pay all of his wages and we can't get him off the books, meaning that we cannot afford to sign Oblak ter Stegen while having Kepa at the club. So the likes of a cheap alternative such as a Nick Pope or an Andre Onana for £30 million would be more viable to essentially compete with Kepa going into next season. So it really depends on the Kepa situation if we can offload him. If we can offload him on a permanent deal or even loan him out, Chelsea will look to sign a world-class replacement. If not, well, we have to look at cheap alternatives. One thing is guaranteed by Matt Law is that Chelsea will definitely be signing goalkeeper, whether that is a cheaper alternative or if that is a world-class marquee replacement. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Stay tuned on that. All latest news will be reported on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and smash that notification bell. But again, Chelsea are pushing ahead with their bid to sign Kai Havertz. The Havertz deal is extremely close. It's done, purse terms agreed, and we should hopefully expect an announcement very, very imminently, very, very soon. It's believed Lampard will have to create space, of course, but the Havertz deal is very, very close. Nearly done, around £80 million. It's looking good. It's looking good. But if you did enjoy this channel study, don't forget to smash like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and comment down with your thoughts, opinions in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys for my next video. Peace.